Destination weddings are a great excuse to go travel and get a serious life event checked off the list while you're at it. My husband and I eloped to a faraway land, and to this day, I am still only legally married in the country of Costa Rica. Marty from Down the Rabbit Hole here. My husband and I will soon be celebrating our 9th anniversary on April 1st. Yeah, we got married on April Fool's Day. It suits us. In honor of our special day, I'm doing a throwback video that explains why I'm only legally married in Costa Rica. Hopefully this video helps future couples plan out their ceremony properly and save them a little bit of trouble. There's a lot behind the scenes of our wedding story. I won't get into too much detail, but I will tell you I worked for one summer at a museum in southern Alberta that rented out its museum space for weddings on the weekends. We had a wedding planner that worked at the museum, except she didn't work on weekends. So the weekend staff, which I was part of, had to help run and supervise these weddings. And well, after a summer full of drunken wedding guests and bridezillas and mother of the bridezillas, I had it with weddings. I hated weddings, and I didn't want a wedding for myself. All I wanted to do was elope somewhere warm, say my vows on the beach with sand in my toes, and then do something fun with the dress after. That's all I wanted, so that's what we did. We hired a lawyer who lived in the area that we were eloping to, and she sent us a package of paperwork that we had to complete and return to her in advance. You need to fill out all these forms, like there's a lot of forms that need to be filled out 1 month before you get married in Costa Rica. So Costa Rica is not a place where you just fly to and just get married suddenly on the beach. You have to kind of plan this one out a little bit in advance. Then down we flew to Costa Rica. You have to be in the country, I believe it is 24 hours before you can get married. I'm not sure why. We actually spent a few days sightseeing, so we didn't get married until day 3 of our trip. We eloped alone. We didn't take friends or family with us. It was just Joey and I. Although Joey's dad does own a house down there, that's where we were staying, so my father-in-law was with us at the time of the wedding. Except at the time of the wedding, he also was recovering from a foot injury, and so we weren't even sure if he was going to be able to attend. So we really felt like we were truly on our own for this wedding. The lawyer that we hired recruited a couple of her friends to help us with our wedding. Daniel was the photographer, and he didn't speak an ounce of English. And Hazel was my hairdresser. They also doubled as our witnesses. Because in Costa Rica, you have to have 2 non-related witnesses to sign your documents for you, which we didn't have, so we just hired strangers. Hazel's German exchange student at the time, Marisol, became our videographer. So that was our piecemeal, haphazard wedding party. The wedding itself was really fun. Joey and I stood on these big black rocks in the middle of the beach with our bare feet, and our lawyer turned out to be extremely pregnant at the time, so she remained on the sand and had to holler up our vows at us. Joey's dad was able to actually attend, and he showed up with a couple of his friends. They stood off to the side and drank champagne the whole time. I don't even think they paid attention. It was so much fun. I wouldn't trade it for anything. I even got my dream of trashing the dress by going ziplining through the Costa Rican jungle in my wedding gown. However, we did discover some things when we returned home. We'd paid our lawyer $300 to do 2 things. 1, perform the civil ceremony, and 2, make our marriage legal in the country of Costa Rica. But for the price of $300, she left us with the duty of making our marriage legal in Canada. We assumed that would be easy. It was not. Had we known better, we probably would have hired a foreign wedding planner to take care of the international legalities. Our marriage license showed up in the mail as promised and as expected in Spanish. I happily skipped down to the registry's office with it to get us registered in Alberta and was hit with a hard dose of reality. To make our certificate legal here in the country of Canada, we needed to do 4 things. 1, we had to pay to have our certificate translated into English. by an accredited translator who would be approved by the Ministry of Foreign Relations. 2, we had to have our certificate notarized by a lawyer, preferably the lawyer who had signed the first one, which wasn't going to happen because we weren't flying back to Costa Rica for that. 3, we had to have our new certificate authenticated by the Ministry of Foreign Relations. And 4, we had to have that certificate certified and signed by the Canadian Embassy's consular section. Just the translation and notarization fees were quoted to me at anywhere between $3,000 to $5,000. So I slunk home with my marriage certificate and tucked it away safely, where it hasn't moved since. My husband and I are common law spouses, legally recognized here in Canada, so I guess that's good enough. We did consider having just a simple civil ceremony here in Canada to make it legal, but we never got around to doing it. Since then, we've had 2 kids and life's gotten pretty busy. Plus, I just renewed my passport with my legal unmarried name, and I don't want to have to pay extra money to get a new one. We know we're married, we're happy with it, I don't have to pay a bunch of extra money to get my name changed, and I think everything worked out for the best. And that's why I'm only married in Costa Rica. Happy travels, everyone! Did you or would you have a destination wedding? If so, tell me where in the comments below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and please remember to subscribe to my channel.